kept repeating this process as Optimus held Ren down. Optimus could hear the screams of people dying, but he had to make sure that Ren would regain consciousness. What happened to avenge your mother? Armin demanded. Aren't you going to wipe out the Titans? Don't you hate the things that killed your mother? Ren, wake up! Ren, that must be his drive, Optimus thought. Revenge. Optimus has seen this many times, how revenge would actually push someone to move forward. It was mainly with RC, though. And judging by what he's seen so far in this crazy world, Ren must have seen her get eaten. One day, we're going to explore the outside world together, right? Armin asked. Now that got Optimus' attention. What did Armin mean by that? He didn't know much of this world, so he was kind of going with the flow of things for right now. But what did Armin mean by that? Has humanity not been able to see their own world because of these creatures? Far beyond the walls, Armin continued, is flaming waters, frozen earth, snow-white plains of sand. The world my mom and dad tried to see. I thought maybe you'd forgotten, but the reason you stopped mentioning it was because you didn't want me joining the Survey Corps. Right, Optimus could feel Ren stirring just the slightest. Ren, answer me. You knew that hell was one step beyond the walls, Armin said. You might die horribly like my mom and dad did. So why do you want to go? Suddenly, steam began to arise from Ren's skin as his faces began to regenerate. Optimus grabbed Armin and stepped back as Ren slowly stood up and let out a roar. Optimus placed Armin on the roof before he blocked him from view. Optimus wasn't sure if Ren was conscious now, so he had to step lightly. Ren stopped roaring and looked over at Optimus. Ren, can you hear me? Optimus asked. Ren glared at him but nodded his head in response. Do you remember the mission? Optimus asked. Ren didn't say anything as he turned to look at the boulder. Mikasa widened her eyes as she heard loud footsteps. She turned to see steam rising from under the boulder. She widened her eyes with relief as she saw Ren carrying the boulder. She also saw Optimus guarding Ren with his weapons out. Ren, she smiled. Mikasa, Armin called out as he landed next to her. Armin, she said. Ren won, Armin proclaimed. Now he and Optimus are trying to get the job done. Optimus can't cover Ren all by himself. So, we need to help him until they both reach the gate. Ian widened his eyes in shock as he looked at the two. If all goes right, humanity could win for the first time. Humanity could strive. Defend them both at all costs. Ian ordered, protect Ren and Optimus until they both reach the gate, even if it costs you your lives. Don't let the Titans interfere. Optimus stabbed a Titan before he kicked a smaller Titan into another building. He looked over to see Ren slightly struggling with carrying the boulder. Ren, you are almost there, Optimus told him. You need to keep going. Optimus seemed to have gotten to Ren because he seemed to be trying harder to carry the boulder. Optimus widened his optics as he saw 2 to 3 Titans walking towards Ren. He transformed one of his blades into a gun and fired directly at their heads. They began to disintegrate as they fell to the ground, leaving the soldiers behind them in a daze. Optimus noticed that the Titans were clearing the area. The humans were probably trying to distract the Titans that were coming through. Optimus looked over at his data and saw that he had enough energy for his blasters. Optimus transformed his other blade in a gun and began to fire at the Titans' head that were near him. The Titans began to drop like flies as their heads were disintegrating. Optimus saw another Titan come through the breach. He was about to shoot it, but the woman, Rico, came in and cut through the Titan's eye, distracting it. Mikasa then came from behind, hooked onto the back of the neck before she cut through it. Go, Ren! Optimus heard Armin yelled. Ren let out a roar before he used the boulder to plug the breach in the wall. It was so much force that cracks began to form through the wall. Optimus didn't show it, but he was relieved. The fight was finally over. He saw a yellow flare fly through the air, signaling that the mission was a success.